just for once come to me. Wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Jabeki vino amar bifole chorie. Jabeki vino amar bifole chorie. Divanishi achiboshi ashapoto niroke. Divanishi achiboshi ashapoto niroke. Hridoyo kutiro dwar korache anibar. Hridoyo kutiro dwar korache anibar. Daya kore ekobar esheki jurabehi. Daya kore ekobar esheki jurabehi. Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Long I've called you, my Lord, long I've called you.
Many years I have longed for your sight.
Bathe the darkness with tears of devotion.
Offered candles in prayer to your light.
How much longer, friend, must I cry your name? I am yours, ever yours. Will you come? Long I've called you, my Lord, long I've called you. Many years I have longed for your sight. Bathe the darkness with tears of devotion. Offered candles in prayer to your light. How much longer, friend, must I cry your name? I am yours, ever yours. Will you come?
Could we get this just a little lower? Is that possible? Thank you. Just 'cause- Thank you, Barbara. So today we're commemorating the birth of our guru, Paramhansa Yogananda, on January 5th, 1893, in the little town of Gorakhpur. This is the little baby who his mother took some months later to the great avatar Lahiri Mahashaya, who, when he saw and blessed the baby, declared that he would be a spiritual engine that would bring many, many souls to God. He's the engine, and we are riding in his train. Yogananda had a brilliant life. Brilliant in the sense that he was a shining star of God's presence, of God's grace for all humanity. I'd like to read the poem God's Boatman, which I read this morning, that says in Yogananda's own words how he felt about this incarnation. He writes, I want to ply my boat many times across the gulf after death and return to earth's shores from my home in space. I want to load my boat with all those waiting, thirsty ones who have been left behind, that I may carry them to the opalescent pool of iridescent joy, there where my Father distributes his all desire-quenching liquid peace. Oh, I will come again and again, crossing a million crags of suffering. With bleeding feet I will come, if need be, 1,000,000,000 times, as long as I know that one stray brother is left behind. I want thee, O God, that I may give thee to all. I want salvation, that I may give it to all. Free me then, O Lord, from the bondage of this body, that I may show others how they too can free themselves. I want thine everlasting happiness, but I want also to share it with others, that all my brothers may find the way to happiness forever, forever in thee. So Master has come to load his boat on the way to salvation, as he says, how does he say it here? With all those waiting, thirsty ones who have been left behind. So that's us, all of us. We've been waiting, we've been thirsty, we were left behind the last time he came. And so he came again, if need be, 1,000,000,000 times, crossing crags of suffering, even with bleeding. He came for us, because we weren't able to get in the boat the last time. And he came again so that this time we can. Master is an avatar, and all of these great souls that you see here, from Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya Sri Teshwaraji, and Yogananda. They are avatars, and we can say that they are avatars of Dwapara Yuga. They came right on the cusp of a new age. They are, in a sense, Yuga avatars, avatars of Dwapara Yuga. And we are their disciples. What importance does it have that our masters are avatars, that they are Jagat Gurus, that they are avatars of this age? Does that in any way affect our relationship with them? What do you think? No, says somebody, and somebody else is saying yes. I think it's both. It's yes and no. It influences us in deep and significant ways. And in another sense, it doesn't matter whether they are avatars or not. All that matters is that Master has brought his boat again, and we are waiting, and he has given us the tools so this time we can jump in that boat. But I would like to address the fact that Master was and is today, presently alive, an avatar of Dwapara Yuga. And an avatar means a soul that is completely liberated and comes to this earth with a special mission, not only for us, his dear disciples, but also for all humanity. So he has a mission that goes beyond even our own salvation. I'm not going to speak much about it, but I'd like to highlight just a few aspects of that world mission as Yogananda saw it. The name that Yogananda chose for himself is simple, Yogananda. There are many sadhus and sannyasis who take the name Yogananda. But it's also deeply significant because yoga means, as we know, the joining together, the bringing together. And this, in a way, defines many aspects of Yogananda's mission. He was destined and charged by God to bring together the spirituality of the East and the West, the joining, the creating the bridge between East and West, which in itself is important, but also is a step towards the unity of all humanity, the coming era of peace and unity, of bringing these together. He said, I was born to interpret the scriptures, the original teachings of Lord Krishna and the original teachings of Jesus Christ, and to show how they are both speaking the same truth, the truth of the ancient Sanatana Dharma. As Swami expressed so simply in the last years of his life, this one simple truth: we have all come from God, and we are all going back to him. And this is the purpose of our life. In the teachings of Jesus, in the teachings of Lord Krishna, in the teachings of all true spiritual paths. And Master brilliantly interpreted the teachings of Lord Krishna in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, and those of Jesus Christ in his commentary on what he called the second coming of Christ, or the birth of Christ consciousness within us. And Swami Kriyanandaji has captured the essence of Guru Dev's interpretations, both of Bhagavad Gita, in the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and the second coming of Christ in the Revelations. So this was one aspect of Master's world mission, to make a significant step in the coming together of all people, of all religions, of all humanity, in the one single pathway to God, through self-realization. Master has an important role to play in that future, and we can see today how very much it is needed, because there are two energies in the world, one moving towards more and more intolerance, separation, sectarianism, and another current moving towards greater unity and understanding and brotherhood. And as disciples of Master, we are part of the wave of Yogananda, bliss through bringing together. And in some way, each one of us has a role to play, finding that unity within ourselves, and as Master said, sharing it with all, through our vibration, through our smile, through our eyes. One aspect of Yogananda's work. Yogananda came in line with Babaji to bring Kriya Yoga back into the world and make it available to us. Kriya Yoga as the tool for God realization. And this weekend has been dedicated to the practice and the deepening of Kriya Yoga. This was a great mission of his, and every one of us, wherever we are on the pathway to self-realization and the pathway of Kriya Yoga, has our part to play, to become realized ourselves through that technique and to share with all. Master had another important mission, and that was the establishing of world brotherhood communities, of places all over the world, be they in the countryside, in the cities, in the villages, in the home, in our business environment, of creating communities where people are cooperating and helping each other, where they learn to respect each other and work together. The wars that we see in the world today, and they seem to be getting worse and worse, more violent and brutal, are based on the fact that people don't have an education of working together. It's every man and woman for himself. It's every family for itself. It's every business against every other business. And Yogananda wants us to work together to help to show through our own lives that we are all working together for the same goal, to help create on earth harmony, the harmony that we find in ourselves, to bring that harmony outward. And wherever we are, to work towards creating small cooperative communities. Really, in your office, in your workspace, in your home, how many families are working together for harmony? That's the place to start, with community. This is the place to start. I love coming here. I love coming to all of our centers, but just between us. And I've said it before, when I was here with the movie Finding Happiness, I really love being here. Why? Because I feel your spirit of community. I feel that in this center, you are realizing, you have realized Yogananda's hopes and dreams for a cooperative family. This is what you are. I see it. I feel it in your faces, in the way that you serve, in your sacrifice, in what you bring here, and how deeply you meditate here. This is a beautiful cooperative community. The Pune Retreat Center is a cooperative community that's serving people from around India, from around the world, helping them to feel loved and accepted and welcomed and part of a greater family. This is a place where Yogananda's ideal of cooperative community has already started, the seed is planted, it's blossoming, and it is going to flourish. I can see in the near future that there will be an urban community here where people are living together or near each other, a community like we have in Palo Alto, where people come together, live together, share, work outside, work for the community, develop community businesses, and right here in the city, demonstrate how possible it is to live and share and love together. These are three of Yogananda's missions and aspects that I wanted to touch on briefly. And then that final question, does it really matter that Yogananda is an avatar for our relationship with him? Yes, in the way that we can serve as part of that great wave of energy, his mission, and we can grow through serving his worldwide missions. But the most important thing is for us is that he has come for us. He has given us his love, the tools of Kriya Yoga, and through those tools, we will achieve God realization. I will come again, if need be 1,000,000,000,000 times, with bleeding feet, crossing crags of suffering, to load you, waiting, thirsty souls who have been left behind, into my boat and carry you to salvation, to God realization. This is Master's eternal promise to us, and ours to him, that we're ready to jump into his boat. So let that be our wish today on his birthday, to honor the fact that he came for us and to express our willingness to get in the boat and let him carry us to the opalescent shores of liquid peace.
I also just want to say what an extraordinary joy it is to be here in Pune, and I will return again and again. I don't know about 1,000,000,000 times, but many times I hope. And I will be here next Thursday also, so at least one more time. There was a woman who visited Ananda Village in California. It's our ashram where Ananda, it's our first site or the first location of Ananda. It's been there since the late 1960s. And about 10 years ago, she visited, and she was from South America. And she had a work in the world of nature and ecology. And she was deeply praying as she was staying in a tent, very humbly, at our retreat center there. She was praying to Yogananda ji as her guru. What can I do when I go back to South America? Please tell me, I need your guidance. I need your understanding. And because of the sincerity of her prayer, Yogananda appeared to her right there next to her tent at the Expanding Light Retreat. And he said one word. That's all he said. He said, give. And in a way, that is a universal advice for all of us. There's a strange paradox on the spiritual path. I'm not sure if it's a paradox, a quandary, or a conundrum. Someone can help me out here. Please do. But it is that what brings all of us on to a serious commitment to a guru, to the spiritual path, is what we will be getting from it. Because we are wanting peace, we've faced suffering, hardship in our lives, and we're wanting peace and joy. And so we embark on this adventure because of what we're going to be receiving. But the Guru and God turn the tables on us. Once we get very serious about it, they tell us it's all about giving, what you can give. And it's a very strange thing, because you will find that when we define the lives of saints and masters, when you look at them, you don't think so much about what they got out of the deal in the bargain. You think about what they gave. And you think of that of Yogananda ji. You think of that with his great disciple, Swami Kriyananda ji. For all of us who are part of Ananda, the real model of the guru-disciple relationship was Swami Kriyananda, in the way he spent his entire life as a disciple. And one time, not long ago, he attributed the degree of divine bliss and divine freedom that he felt at the end of his life. And in fact, Yoganandaji told him that he would be free and he would find salvation at the end of this lifetime. But he had a lot of work to get there, a lot of giving to get there. But Swamiji said that he was freed inside mostly through Guru Seva and Guru Bhakti, giving to the Guru in service and devotion. Some years ago, Swamiji was facing a particular test of karma, and it was a test of attachment and desire, and he was really struggling with it for many, many years. And he said that what got him out of this test was very, very simple. He said he realized that he couldn't win that battle sort of in hand-to-hand combat. He wasn't able to win that, overcoming it by facing it directly. He said that what he did to win that battle in the end was to serve the Guru and to practice devotion. It was as simple as that. And he said what happened was in that giving, that the karmic scales were at the beginning, this karma that was pulling him out of himself was heavier than the karma of freedom. And simply by loving God, serving the Guru, that karmic scale finally tilted the balance in the favor of his freedom from this particular test. And it's very strange because God has everything, and yet in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, worship me, adore me, and he gives the promise that you will be free. He says, give everything to me. And God and the Guru say, give your thoughts to me, give your attachments to me. It's also even with meditation, not just with service and devotion. Swamiji, early on in his meditation career with Paramhansa Yogananda, he was struggling with meditation. There was restlessness, and he was, in a sense, he was doing something that I see a lot of people do early on, especially with Kriya Yoga, which is that they're trying too hard. And Master told him, try to see even meditation as karma yoga, as nishkam karma, which is desireless action, acting purely in the form of giving, thinking nothing of what you're getting in return. And it's a very strange thing with the spiritual path that in the end, when we think entirely of giving and not what we are getting, in that we become free because we open ourselves to the grace of God, to the grace of the Gurus. And so tonight what we're going to do is we're going to have an offering. We have rose petals or something that we're going to have people offer. This is going to be offering something to the Guru on his birthday. See it as a birthday present, but see it also in this context of this is how we become free, is by how much we give. So there's a story that Swami Kriyananda often told. It's a story from Tagore, and it's about a man who was very poor, impoverished. He lived by the side of the road in, a shack like you see by the side of many roads in India. And one day the king came by his path, and the king and his big royal retinue was there, and he approached this man and went into his hut, and he asked, what can you give? And the man looked around, and he was thinking of himself, and he was thinking of not what he could give, but probably how much he could hold on to. And he finally found 1 grain of rice in his big pile of rice that he gave to the king. With devotion, with selflessness, the king went away, and then as he was going about his business that day, he looked at his rice, and in that rice he saw 1 grain of gold that was in the shape of that rice that he gave. So in the end, it's really what we give that really frees us, inspires us, liberates us, partly because we're no longer thinking of this little self, we're thinking expansively, but also because that's how we open ourselves to the grace of God, to the grace of a Guru. So we'll be doing this offering. We're going to pass the rose petals around? Or?
Yes, they're coming.
They're coming. So we'll pass these rose petals around and use them symbolically to go to the altar and offer whatever you feel to give. It can be simply your heartfelt devotion to the Guru for what he's given us. It can be simply a desire to give more deeply in the form of Guru Bhakti or Guru Seva in this coming year. But remember that the more that you give, of course, the more that we receive. And it's in giving that we really do become free. And it's not just the saints and the masters, once they get to that point that they give and we're inspired by their giving, that's actually how we get there. That's the way to freedom, is how we give. And we give selflessly, with complete devotion, with complete heartfelt freedom. And when you do it in the right spirit, because it's not a tit for tat kind of thing. If you give 1 grain of rice, you'll get 1 grain of gold back, and maybe I'll give more and do it that way. So just give freely and really try to lead your life more like this. Think in terms of what you can give. When you see someone who needs help, be ready to give at all times. And you'll find that that attitude will carry you very, very far towards divine freedom, eventually towards moksha, because this is Swami Kriyanandaji, great example of discipleship to this great guru. His life was entirely one of giving to the guru. One time, many, many years ago, when Ananda was facing a lot of trials and tests, and Swamiji was going through some health problems, and my wife and I were just sitting with him after the end of a very busy weekend in his apartment, just the three of us, and he was a little bit discouraged from events. And my wife tried to encourage him and console him and said, just look at how much you've done with your life and all these things that you've done. And she listed some of the incredible works that he had done, and the man was extraordinary. He's written 150 books, and Keshavaji, who some of you might know, he's one of our acharyas at Ananda Delhi. He said that one time he was visiting Crystal Hermitage, and he was staying in the guest room, and he went out to the pool in the morning and sat in the sun and went for a swim. And he said later on, somewhat wryly, while I was sunning myself and relaxing and sitting by the pool, Swamiji wrote another book. And the man was extraordinary. It was superhuman. In fact, Swamiji actually said he wrote so many books that he thinks 200 years from now, scholars will look at all these books with the name Swami Kriyananda and J. Donald Walters, and they will think that it must have been a whole school of scholars who wrote as a team, because a person could not write that many books. In spite of how much he gave, he got very, very quiet when my wife was trying to encourage him with all that he had done. And he just very, very, very simply said, I hope at the end of my life only that I pleased my guru. And he wasn't talking about pleasing him by all these incredible things he had done. It was obviously he was talking about simply giving in the complete freedom of self with Guru Seva, Guru Bhakti, and even giving to the Guru as a form of Nishkam Karma when he practiced meditation and Kriya Yoga. So guide your life by this principle. If there's one word and one principle to guide your life towards freedom, it is simply that one word, which is to give. And then start looking around for ways of giving. And it can very simply mean just devotion to the Lord. This is why Krishna said, all we really need in the end is worship me, adore me. But sometimes we need a vehicle or an action to be a vehicle to carry that devotion. So find ways in activity, in meditation, and you will find that giving, you become free. It's as simple as that. And especially giving Guru Bhakti, Guru Seva, and meditation. Again, Swamiji, near the end of his life, gave the credit for his freedom to those three things, Guru Bhakti, Guru Seva, and meditation.